Okay, the next book I'm going to be reviewing is Small Things Like This. This is a book by Claire Keegan. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. The last two books I cover are extremely well known worldwide, so I didn't think it was necessary to give like an explanation. But now I'm starting to get into the more niche books, less heard of books. Definitely not as big as Dune and Game of Thrones. This is going to be spoiler heavy. Small Things Like This. I'll give a spoiler free synopsis. So the synopsis of the story is basically it takes place, if I'm not mistaken, it takes place in Ireland, right? I'm pretty sure it takes place in a small Irish town, 1985, and it revolves around a character called Furlong, Bill Furlong, however you pronounce that name. And you follow what he sees during in this weird town where weird things are going on, right? Where people are being oddly complacent with the doing nothing about the suspicious and bad things around them, right? This is a short book. It is 128 pages long. I work 8-hour shifts at my work, and I finished this like an hour and a half before my shift was over. So you can absolutely finish this in one sitting, and yeah, it's an extremely short book. First things first, I always like to review the cover. The cover, it's this green and white cover. Very simple, very simple. I like the little Oprah Book Club sticker on the side. This is my first Oprah Book Club book. I didn't know that she had a book club, but it's the first one that has a sticker, so I'm very happy about that. Very simple artwork. I really like that she wanted to be super subtle with it, and overall, I like it. I really do like it. The story is very short, as I've stated. It's 128 pages, and I don't know if that's like 128 pages of the story, not including like the title, the acknowledgments, stuff like that. Um, that being said, still extremely short, and it suffers a lot from that length. We spend a lot of time with Bill Furlong, and due to the length of the book, we spend nowhere near as much time as I believe we should have, right? We spend a tremendous amount of time with him, seeing what he's seeing in the town, what he's experiencing, what he's thinking about certain things. And while that does mean we understand him better as a character, due to the length of the book, it means we spend way too much time with him and not enough time with other characters that could have added more to the story. We don't spend enough time in events that could have impacted us differently in the end, and it lowers the hit of the book by the end, right? Like it doesn't stay with you as very long. What I mean by like events is, so the main part of the book is that the character, I always forget his name because it's so weird. The name Furlong, right? He spends time in this town, and there's a church where there's like nuns, I think is what there are, or what's it called? A laundry, I think it's called, or something like that. Yeah, something like that. But it is a church, and in the church they're being very suspicious. They're acting extremely suspicious with a group of girls, right? It's all girls, and they're acting really weird, like they're being abused or something. We don't really see a lot of that. We only get hints, which is what the main character is getting. We only get the hints that Bill Furlong is getting, so we see it from his perspective. So even though we are confused about what's going on, and there's not a lot of like answers to our questions, so does the main character, so we're following him along, so that feels nice. But, and it is a big but, we do not spend a lot of time assessing those moments. Those moments come and go extremely quickly, and the main character, Bill Furlong, as we do, doesn't spend a lot of time analyzing it. So those like weird and like suspicious moments, we only ever get hints. So if I could compare this to like a dish, I would say like imagine going to a restaurant, like a really good restaurant, but the only thing you get is appetizers, appetizers and appetizers and appetizers. Like you only get the a hint of what could be, right? So like instead of getting the nice $90 prime rib steak, you get like a baby back rib, right? And that's it. You get what, not even like a stack of ribs, right? Like a rack. You get a baby back rib. You get the meat on one bone, right? That's it. And that's what really sucks, because you can tell by the way the characters are being developed. You can very clearly tell there's something going on, and it entices you. You want to learn more about it, but the book is so short. You spend such a little amount of time that by the time you are invested and you're like, yes, like I want to read more, like we're here, like we finally get to see what's going on, the book ends and it's over. And you only ever get hints and hints and hints and hints and hints. And it does help in like making the town feel more mysterious and whatever, but unfortunately there's no satisfying conclusion, so you're not left wanting more. You're left wanting like what you feel like you deserved. Like the book spends its time building up this like this entire town that is just complacent. It's just like letting these like girls, the women and girls, just be like potentially abused, the entire town. And there's only one guy that is willing to do even the morsel of like an act about it, right? One guy, right? It's building up to like this like a confrontation of the main character for a long doing finally stepping up and doing something about it. And you hear him, you read his thoughts and you read him like building up to it, but by the time he actually does something, the book ends 5 pages later, right? So it's like, what was the point of building all of this mystique up, right? It makes no sense. Aside from that, the book is very descriptive. You always know what's going on. You never feel lost. The characters feel, yeah, I wouldn't. The characters feel somewhat unique. There's not a lot of important characters. You really spend most of your time with Bill Furlong, the main character, and a few side characters. But you, not a lot for you to get like an attachment, if you know what I mean, for you to really like grow with the character, or at least, you know, have them in like the back of your mind as a character, whatever. Like everybody else aside from the main character is just a side character. Like when I say side character, I don't exaggerate. I really do mean side character, because the second main character is the setting, because that gets more attention than any other character, which is unfortunate. Overall, I give this book a 3 out of 5. It's very, if it had, I'd say 50 more pages, maybe a little less, 50 more pages, maybe like 30, 40, it would have been much better, maybe like a 4 star. But unfortunately, it cuts off right when things get interesting. You really don't get that much detail. You're really left just like, you really left hanging there, man. And it really sucked because I was getting invested in it and I was really liking the pace. The pacing was nice, the character, the world building was nice, but it just ends so abruptly and it just ends before settling what it should have settled before, which is a shame. But what can you do? You know what I mean? So 3 out of 5 stars, not bad book. Just, yeah, you just wish you had done more. Yeah, and yeah, can't wait to read the next book.